Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews.
Don't go away, MrTruck.tv. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome to MrTruck.com with Kent. Yes, it's breaking news. Now, a lot of times I'll summarize a week's worth of news, but they embargo it till tomorrow morning, which means I have to get it up and rolling. This is from Ford, our happy guys at Ford. Thanks for coming. We review trucks, trailers, and accessories here, and we sell accessories. So we were trying to stay on top of this, but what we're talking now is this 2021 Ford F-150. You know, they got the hybrid, they got all these things coming out. And they've changed a few things besides all the workabilities of that tailgate and the seats that fold down flat and the armrest that flips over and all those really cool stuff. But now we're getting down to the numbers that I care about. And that's trailer towing capacity, payload, all those kind of things. And they did jack up the capacity now to 14,000 pounds. Of course, it's two-wheel drives. But that is astounding a number, and that's for the 3.5 Ecoboost, like what I have. They've cranked it up, but that's two-wheel drive, and that's actually, I think, a Super Crew. And they got the maximum payload up to 3,325. 14,000 pounds worries me a little bit. That's what a 3/4 ton used to do. That used to be big numbers for a 3/4 ton. So I don't know. I mean, you know, yeah, worry about it. Worry about brakes or stopping ability of these trucks for 14,000 pounds. I mean, you know, I worry. You have to pull triple axle trailers to stop you. But anyway, we'll see how that works out. Because my 2018 F-150 Ecoboost, and I followed all the charts to where I had to get a 20-inch wheels, and I had to get the 355 rear end axle to get up to 12,800 maximum towing. Now, if I could have got a 6.5, but I waited too long, a 6.5 foot, I could have got up to that 13,200. Well, now that's jumped up to 14,000. But, you know, these still have semi-floating axles, where a heavy duty all have like a semi, a full floating axle, which means it's got the giant bearings on the outside of the axle housing, not on the shaft, not on the axle shaft, and you got 4 bearings. It's the semi-floating axle that a half-ton has 2 bearings. And they are on the axle shaft. So that's a big difference in strength. Big difference. I worry about 14,000 pounds, but I guess Ford's tested it, so what do I know? But anyway, you know, and I have towed 12,800 with my trailer, my truck and trailer. I went to the maximum. So that's what I do. I haul things at the maximum. They may not last forever that way, but, you know, I buy them to get work done. That's how I've always done, even as a farmer. And it looks like, I hope I'm getting this correctly, I think I am, the horsepower and torque on that new, what the hell is it called? I mean, what the heck is it called? it's the PowerBoost. They always have to have these power numbers, Ecoboost, PowerBoost. So the PowerBoost is that new kilowatt puppy. That's the PowerBoost hybrid, which it's all interesting how that works out. So we're going to talk about warranty and a few other things, what I know, what I don't know. We'll even talk about what I don't know. But that is quite a bit when you figure out you've got all the extra power and horsepower. Of course, it can't have the same payload or towing capacity as the regular Ecoboost because it's got all the weight of the batteries. And they must weigh a lot. I think over 700, 800 pounds by just my calculations here. And they also increased some other towing numbers, the 5-liter. You know, they've cranked it up, and I'll give you all those numbers. And, you know, it's got, of course, this has got that over-the-air update, so they can fix it. My truck's going in for a little small problem. The starter makes that noise, whatever that is. So mine's going to the shop next week for that. And that makes 2 things I've done while it's still under warranty. My warranty runs out in about 3,000 miles, so I got to get it in there and get it fixed. But I had a cam phaser go out, and then I got this problem with the starter. It still works fine, just makes noise. Well, I don't want it to make noise, because when the warranty runs out, it might make a lot of noise. You never know. But anyway, yeah, that And we'll talk about some of these things. You've already seen the tailgate work surface, all these other things, the max recline seats we just talked about. But that's what they're doing. Of course, every time they come up with something new, they have to increase all these numbers. And I always want them to do something to the truck. Before you go to 14,000 pounds, make sure you give me more brakes. Make sure you give me, you know, something in the transmission. I mean, there should be some things that correspond with extra weight. Otherwise, I just call it magic spring dust if they do it and haven't really done anything to the truck. But I could see them doing it on the PowerBoost. Make sure I get that name right because it's not an easy one for me. But the PowerBoost naturally is going to have more horsepower and torque than any rest of them because it's got an electric motor. It's, you know, runs off of that electric motor behind the engine, between the engine and the transmission. And, you know, electric engines put out 100% torque, so you can always use those to give you more power. But they cost you because of the weight of the batteries. If they get the weight of the batteries down, these things will be unbelievable. And they're going to have to do that to get into the semi class. But anyway, let's get back to business here. And let's see. That shows, yeah, it is. It's from 13,200 to 14,800 pounds. That's what they gained for this new year, for 2021. And, you know, the PowerBoost maximum capacity of towing with the two-wheel drive is 12,700. And the Payload is 3,325. So it's exactly the same, looks like, as the other one. But anyway, as the regular 3.5. I'll look all that up because they said it's an increase. I think it's an increase across the board on their Payload. But 12,700 on a hybrid. But see, that's, yeah, but you know, you also got to have the GVW of the truck up high enough so that 12,700 could equal 1,270 pounds of tongue weight. So you got to have pretty good payload because, you know, you can't go over the weight of what the truck's going to be empty. And what the payload number is above that, and take away the tongue weight and still be okay, but that may work. 12.7, that's only 100 pounds less than my Ecoboost is right now, 12.8. So that's a good number for a hybrid. That's what I always wanted to do, and that's the important part for me, is if that hybrid can haul that much, 12,700, and if it can get like now I can get 23 miles to the gallon on the highway with the cruise control on. I probably average 20 to 21. It's amazing, so much better than anything else I've had in a truck. But if this hybrid works like most hybrid, when you use regenerative braking, it can get you the same kind of fuel mileage driving through cities. Now that would be the kicker. Those two things, trailer capacity and city fuel mileage, that could make it well worthwhile to get the PowerBoost. Plus, you know, you got your own onboard generator. You can run your RVs out in the middle of nowhere without having to buy one of those $5,000 generaters. You can do all that. Wait a minute, there's only 25 more pages. Don't go anywhere. Let's see if I can get through all this stuff. The PowerBoost 430 and 570, those are the big numbers to remember. And in mine, they actually went up 25 pounds on the 3.5 Ecoboost. Went to 400. Yeah, they were 375. And 500 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty good. And the diesel, they still have the 3-liter diesel. I don't think they sell a lot of them, but they still have it. Of course, they have to. You know, the competition all has it. And it's rated 250 horsepower and 440 torque. It's a torquey rascal. And the 5-liter now, they jumped it up to 400 horsepower and 410 foot-pounds of torque. And it looks good. Now, I don't understand, you know, everybody's into having your Wi-Fi in your truck and all that. And this shows a 4G. Well, 5G is the new thing. Why are they going to 4G? They should have 5G. I'll have to ask them when I get there sometime. But yeah, I'm going to really enjoy the max recline seats. I may have to buy a new truck. I wasn't planning on it for 2 or 3 more years. And I really wanted to get a 3/4 ton next time because the bigger trailers were towing more often. But we'll see. I'm sure liking the way things are looking on this hybrid. So that's how it goes. One thing that really confuses me a little bit is coolant capacity. The 3.3, which is non-turbo, that's got 12 liters. You jump up to the 2.7, it goes to 14.3. And the 5-liter only has 12.5. So you almost got 2 more liters of coolant capacity with the 2.7. What is that about? Why would that have a bigger radiator capacity than the 5-liter V8? I'll have to ask them that question because I don't understand it. Let's see, looking at the diesel here, what it's doing. The PowerBoost, it shows 14.5 liters. It's actually the big one too. It's more than the 3.5. It's only 13.5 and 13 in the diesel. I think the diesel would want more capacity, but what do I know? But yeah, you know, comparing the two 3.5s, the Ecoboost and the PowerBoost. The Ecoboost 400, the PowerBoost 430. The Ecoboost 500, the PowerBoost 570. You know, and but it will, you know, you figure it all out. You know, the 3.5, of course, is lighter. It's going to have more capacity. That's how it is. That's what people understand is you go four-wheel drive, you lose some capacity. You go diesel, in some cases you lose capacity because it weighs more, and that means there's less room for the trailer. Looks like the gear ratios are all the same. They're all going to be 10 speeds. That's going to be what's on the hybrid is the 10 speed. Let's see. And it looks like the brakes, everything's the same, except they're saying on, if you go, you got standard heavy duty and max. If you go to the max payload, heavy duty payload, you get a bigger brake swept area. But those heavy duties and the max capacity do have that electronic parking brake. That's the big one, and then it's a lighter duty on the standard. I think mine's got the heavier duty one. I really like my electronic park brake. I didn't think I'd like them, but I do. I use it a lot now. And of course, you know, you still got the 3 tank sizes for all of them except the Ecoboost and the diesel. The diesel only comes with a 26 gallon. I don't agree with that. But all the other ones, except for the PowerBoost, you can go 23 gallon, 26 gallon, or 36 gallon. My truck's got 36 gallon, of course, because you need that. When you want to drive to Missouri before you fill up again, you want to be able to go 700 and some miles. And mine will do over 700 miles on a tank. But the PowerBoost, of course, you don't need it if you got all electricity helping you and regenerative braking helping you, but it's a 30.6 gallon tank. So there you have it. That's respectable for what it is. But, you know, I still like to have it 36 gallon, but they're trying to save some weight somewhere. So I'm surprised they don't take out the back seats or something, because those are all Super Cruise. Now, let's see. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of other things with it. But, you know, it comes with a lot of the technology now is called standard, like the auto hold when you're stopped at a light or a stop sign, you're rolling back, it won't let you do that. The auto headlights, which I really, really like. I'm in the country. And, you know, I'm having to turn the blinker, the bright off and on is a pain in the butt, and you forget about it. People flash you and they get mad at you and show you all their best fingers. So having the auto off on headlights makes me happy. And that's with the auto beams. I mean, the auto beams, the headlight beams is automatically beams up and down. And of course, the automatic headlights has been around for a while. Forward collision warning, dynamic brake support, hill start assist, pre-collision, emergency braking, pedestrian detection. It's cool where it can spot your neighbor you're trying to run over. It tells you it's there, so stop it. Rear view camera, dynamic hitch support. See, a lot of that stuff is actually by federal mandate. The government says you got to do all this safety stuff, so, you know, hope they don't. And they brag it like they invented it or they do it because they're special. They do it because the government makes them do that on that part of it. And it looks like the standard halogen quad beam headlight. Quad beam, that's like 4. So does that mean you get 4 headlights? Well, it's an optional for the LEDs, but the halogen is standard. Daytime running lights. And it looks like halogen tail lights and LEDs is the option. But you know, you can load these things up unbelievable. But I'm really glad that Ford in their half-ton, in a regular cab, will still give you an 8-foot bed. That's nice, because that's what I grew up with, was 8-foot beds, single cabs. We thought that was the only thing there was in the world. And then things changed. But that's pretty good, pretty good. And I think they also offer it, and they do, in a super cab. You can still get a super cab 8-foot bed. That's a long that's a long truck. But yes, and that's good. And a lot of the truck companies, they quit making single cabs. A lot of them quit, you know, doing long beds. So I'm glad that they do that. Of course, you can't get a Super Crew on a long bed. That would not fit a Walmart parking lot spot. So no 8-foot crew cab. I understand that. They do it, and of course, on the Super Duties and all your heavy-duty trucks. But I'm trying to think out what else is special on here. They give us so many specs, and I'll put these on the website because I'm not going to go through every single spec. That's just too much. But they're going to come out. They got 22-inch wheels as an option. That's pretty cool. I think they've been doing that for a while, but it just blows my mind. You know, semis have 22.5s and 24.5s. Of course, this is a short sidewall. But on my truck, to get to the highest capacity, I couldn't get 18-inch tires. I had to go to 20, which I thought was kind of weird, but that's how they rate those. So when I change out these tires, I'm going to see if I can get 6-ply tires for the replacements. But that's what I got to find out, because I haven't seen if it's got a P on it. I don't see a C on it, or a D. C would be a 6-ply. So I don't know. I'm going to find out. Okay, what else do we need to know? All right. Payload shows here, and I don't know where the number came from. It had to be some stripped down model, because I didn't get with 3500 on anything on this chart. I am showing, like on an Ecoboost with a 5.5 foot bed. No, it's a 6.5 foot bed. 6.5 foot bed is 2980. So I don't see that 3,500 pound payload number on here. Unless it was so important they put it somewhere special, so I couldn't find it. But anyway, and that's another thing. Because when I was buying my truck, I could only get a 5.5 foot bed. I wanted a 6.5 foot bed. And a 6.5 foot bed, I suppose because more frame, more capacity, more length, better stability, they will give your highest payload on that truck. And I think the highest capacity of trailer on that truck. So I'm seeing the very highest number on here for payload on Ecoboost. The 7850 GVWR. I think mine's 7,000 GVWR, but GVW. But that one is on the 6'5" on, of course, a 2-wheel drive. Always remember that. They give you their big, most outstanding numbers usually on a 2-wheel drive. Well, in Colorado, who buys a 2-wheel drive? I mean, they do in Texas, they do in California, and some other places. Let's see. The Power Stroke, it only shows it. Well, it shows you could get it up to 2,300. No, you couldn't either. Basically, all you can get on that Power Stroke is 1805. And, you know, you got a little heavier engine with the diesel. That's for payload. Now the Ecoboost, it looks like if all your cookies are in a row and 2-wheel drive on a 6.5 foot bed, you can get it to 2880. Yeah, but the 5-liter will beat it by 20 pounds. You can get it all the way up on a 5-liter V8 Coyote. You can get it to 2,900 pounds of payload. Oh wow! Look at that! Look at that! What is that? That's a super cab. Yeah, if you go all the way to the super cab, you can get it to 3,010. On the Coyote V8, that means, if I get my numbers right, that regular cab one will have the highest payload. Now I should have figured that out, because that's how that is meant to be. So let me retract that. Doesn't show payload. I guess they don't care. But that has to be that single cab long wheelbase to get to that 3350 or whatever that crazy payload number is. But anyway, reaching down here to the Ecoboost, yeah, it looks like the highest I can get on a 6.5 bed crew cab, not super cab, is 2,880. That's on a super cab. Yeah, on a super cab, you can get all the way up to 2,980 with the Ecoboost 3.5, and on the Coyote you can get to 3,010. We drop down to the crew, super crew. And on the diesel, it only goes to 1,805. Looks like it's 1,840 on a super cab. Very little difference there. But now back to the contenders, the 3.5s, the Ecoboost and the PowerBoost. The Ecoboost, like my truck, goes to 2,880. I knew mine went over 2,000, but that's a 2-wheel drive and a 6'5". Mine's a little over 2,000. But the PowerBoost Hybrid, and I want you to remember this because this is an important number, it is over 2,000. It's 2,120 in a 2-wheel drive with a 6.5 bed on a Super Crew. So there you go. You're going to lose, 760 pounds between the Ecoboost and the Ecoboost Hybrid, which is the PowerBoost. Between those 235s, is 760 pounds less on the PowerBoost. And that's the hybrid. And that's because of the way the batteries. So does that tell us that the batteries weigh 760 pounds? It could be. Well, you got a little more stuff in the transmission because you got that electric motor built into like a torque converter kind of a thing, but it's electric motors. You got a little bit more weight there, and I don't know if the frame changes any, but the batteries may well weigh 760 pounds. So remember that. You heard it here first. I'm speculating. A conventional towing capacity on a regular cab. Yeah, it shows about 10,000 pounds on a 2.7. If you go to the Coyote, it jumps up to 13,000 pounds on a 4-wheel drive, 5.5 foot bed. I didn't know they had that. Nope. They confused you with wheelbase versus that. Okay, on the 5-liter V8 Coyote, it looks like on the regular cab with, I guess it's a 6.5 foot bed. I gotta look that up because it's confusing on that on a regular cab, but that's 13,000. So that's up there quite a bit. That's your conventional towing capacity on a 4-wheel drive or a 2-wheel drive. So now we finally got some numbers there that I like. Then if you go to the Ecoboost on a 2-wheel drive, it's still showing that on a regular cab. You go jump up to 13,300. On a 2-wheel drive, on a 4-wheel drive, you're 13,100. That shows regular cab, Ecoboost, and both of those are a 373. And see, you got to go 373 on the Coyote to get to 13,000. It used to be the 355 had the highest number, but it doesn't now for this year. For my year 2018, it did. But now for 355, it goes to 12,700 with about 3 dots, which means 20-inch max towing capacity and all of that stuff they do to get maximum weight, trailering weight capacity. So there we go. That's 13.3. Okay. So the next page covers that's all with the regular cab. So now we're going to jump to the super cab conventional towing, which is bumper pull. Let's see, on the super cab rating on the 5-liter Coyote, it's 13,000. So they like that number. And on the Ecoboost, it goes up on a 2-wheel drive. Yeah, it looks like the 6.5 foot bed goes up to 14,000. You drop to 13.8. If you go to 4-wheel drive, you lose 200 pounds, which is still a very good capacity. But that's on the super cab. Let's go to super crew. Who'd buy anything but a crew cab? Believe me, I've had them all. And I was so happy when I started buying crew cabs. Just how it goes. But even the 2.7, that race car, Ecoboost V6, that thing flat out flies. They got it clear up with a 373. They're starting to do that lower ratios, which is good. That's like, I wish they had them before, but they were like 355, the maximum capacity. But you can get that 2.7 all the way up in a 4-wheel drive Super Crew to 10,100. Now I'm sure that's the very edge of what that truck will do. I mean, with all that power, I mean, that's neat because now, you know, before it was 8,000 pounds, whatever it was, but it has climbed up there, and that's good. Now the Coyote in a 2-wheel drive goes 13,000, and it goes that way in a 4-wheel drive. It goes just about that way all across the board with 373s. So that's good. That's one of the reasons I didn't buy the Coyote, because I had higher capacity with that 3.5 Ecoboost. So this is good news because I mean I love the sound of the V8, but you know I can't really pick on my 3.5. It gets great fuel mileage, excellent power, and I've towed 12,800 quite often with it. So now let's get into the nitty gritty here. The numbers on the 3.5 Ecoboost, that power monster on the Super Crew. In a 2-wheel drive, you can get it up to 14,000 on, looks like the 5.5 footer on a 2-wheel drive, and you can get 13.8 on a 4-wheel drive. And then if you go to a 4-wheel drive on a 5.5 foot bed, jumps to 13.9. So you can get 14,000 on both 2-wheel drive Ecoboosts, Super Crews with a 5.5 foot bed. And then if you go to 4-wheel drive, you lose 800, or you lose 200 pounds on a 6.5 foot bed. On a 4-wheel drive, you lose 100 pounds on a 5.5 foot bed in a 4-wheel drive. So that's very, very close. Yes, interesting number, 14,000 pounds. Whoa. But I don't know. I'm skeptical about 14,000 pounds with a half ton. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Because I thought I was doing really well at 12,800. I know that's not a whole lot more. It's another 1,200 pounds. But I don't want to do all that just to say I can. I want to do it for a purpose. And I'm getting those kind of weights. I think I would go with the 250 or any heavy duty because they're rated for that. So that's my opinion about that. Now on the hybrid, let's see its numbers. And yeah, it does have a 373. It starts out 355 and it is available. several different configurations, but you get that into the real truck, which is a crew cab, super crew, 6.5 foot bed. You can haul 12,400. Take that same configuration, 6.5 foot bed, super crew, and you go with a 2-wheel drive, you're at 12.7. Now it looks like where that's going to top out at. Same way the other way, 12.7 is on a 2-wheel drive, 5.5 foot bed. On a 5.5 foot 4-wheel drive, it drops to 300 pounds to 12,400. So that's what they're doing to you there. But man, oh macro, looking at some of this stuff, standard, the optional thing on this, if you go with, you know, this first step, the 2 kilowatt Pro Power outboard, and then it was a 2.4 power Pro Power outboard. Then it jumps up to the big one, the 7.2, the one that'll power everything. And then it's got a 12-inch center screen. Looks like that's an option, the 12-inch center screen. Well, that's pretty good, and I like them going sideways. I mean, the Ram is so cool, the tall one goes up and down, but I like the one that goes horizontal better. And you got an 8-inch productivity screen. All these stuff are options. But another thing that interests me is the warranty. Now, I've had a Ford Fusion hybrid, and that thing got 45 miles to the gallon. A little dinky gas engine, but you know, because electrical motor running everything, it would flat out fly. You could accelerate just fast, and I got 45 miles to the gallon. But what worried me about it is how long are the batteries going to last? What's it going to cost to replace them? What's it going to cost to throw them away? And so on that Fusion, as I recall, it had a 7-year warranty just on the batteries. And that's what sold me on. I says, well, I ain't going to worry about somebody else owning it by then. 7 years, yeah, I don't keep it right anyway. So that was part of my decision process on that Fusion, was the battery warranty. Now I'm looking at this, it does not show a separate battery warranty on this. It shows the normal 3-year 36 bumper to bumper, the normal 5-year 60,000 powertrain, aluminum body panels, I guess they're 5-year unlimited if they fall off. The corrosion, perforation, that's on the aluminum. If it comes off, that's 5-year unlimited, so they'll fix that. The paint, I guess people are worried about that corrosion and the body panels and the paint, because that's got 5-year unlimited. I've not had a problem with mine. I put a bed liner in there, and you saw that video. Roadside assistance, which is good, 5-year 60,000. That means they can come fix your tire, get your keys unlocked, do all that. But the diesel engine is 6 years, 100,000, which it should be on a diesel engine. But no, I don't show here. Maybe they'll show us that more later, but there's nothing on here that tells me that there's a special warranty on the battery in this new hybrid Ford PowerBoost. So that's the news from Ford. It's just coming out, and we'll throw some pictures in this so you can remember what it looks like. But thanks for joining me. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe, just hit buttons. And I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.